First-party PlayStation games are awesome. But do you know what's even more awesome? First-party PlayStation games on PC. PC is the definitive way to play PlayStation games now and going forward. I absolutely love playing Spider-Man and swinging through the city in native 4K with all the bells and whistles and ray tracing and no compromises. And the best part is I can play the way I want to play. And yes, that does include a PlayStation 5 controller. It also includes an Xbox controller or a mouse and keyboard. I can choose to play however I want to play, and I absolutely love that. No compromises and no limitations, but there's more to it. As you can see, I own a PlayStation 5, and this thing is it's a chunky monkey, okay? This thing is huge. It barely fits in the frame. I'm having to move around and make sure it fits, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty big boy, but it's a great console and it offers a lot of value. And I'm not gonna lie, if you're a console gamer and you can only buy one console right now, the PlayStation 5 is probably the way to go. I'm not gonna take anything away from it. I can't stand how I bought this thing and then Sony started putting all the PlayStation games on PC. It's like, dude, if I knew that, I wasn't gonna buy this. And I'm sure that's how a lot of you out there probably feel if you have a PlayStation. And Jim Ryan came out and confirmed they will continue to put PlayStation games on the PC going forward, and they're going to start doing it at a much faster rate. If you're thinking about jumping ship and coming over to PC, here's what you can look forward to, and that's what I really want to talk about in this video, is talking about all the benefits you get by taking these exact same games and playing them on a different box, basically just a different platform. It's the same game, but it has way more features. Now, in order to make this video, I needed a capture card, and unfortunately I didn't have a capture card that could handle the PS5. The only capture card I had was like a really old Elgato HD60, like the basic model, and it could only do 1080p. It could not handle a 4K image. So in all honesty, this video almost didn't happen, but thankfully a company by the name of Kuhaimi contacted me and they sent out their capture card. This is not technically a sponsorship. Yes, they sent it out to me completely free of charge, and yes, I did say I would mention it, but in all honesty, I'm really just grateful to have this card in my possession because all it did was help speed up the process, okay? I've had this video on my to-do list for quite some time, and now it's finally able to get made because they sent it out to me. So give me just a second to tell you about it. A lot of gamers out there buy capture cards anyway. A lot of people want to share their gameplay online. It just makes sense. The thing about this that really makes it unique is that they're aiming to compete with Elgato and AverMedia, but at a fraction of the cost. They are cheaper than Elgato and AverMedia for the same features. It can capture and record 1080p 120. It can pass through 4K 60, or it can record 4K 30, and it uses USB Type-C. Now, like most capture cards, it has an HDMI in and an HDMI out, but the cool part about it is you don't have to use the HDMI out option on here. It's really just optional. I was able to take my PlayStation 5 and plug it directly into the capture card, and then take the capture card and plug it into my PC, and then I could see and play anything related to the PS5 right there on my PC in the OBS preview window with no lag and no noticeable latency of any kind. It was an instant connection, and honestly, that's all I got to say about it. It's a good card. If you need a capture card for a fraction of the price, check this guy out. I'll have an affiliate link down below in the pinned comment if you're interested. But now let's talk about why PlayStation games are so much better on PC. Right now, I have some footage of Spider-Man Remastered from the PlayStation 5 on the screen, and as you can see, the menu options are quite limited. They are very minimum and straight to the point. There is not a whole lot you can play with here. There is not a lot you can change. There's a graphics mode that offers a performance preset or a performance preset with ray tracing, or there's a fidelity mode that focuses more on the graphics. And of course, all of this is exactly the same on Spider-Man Miles Morales, because essentially it is the exact same game, and as you can see, the menu options are the same and they're quite limited. However, what happens if we look at the exact same games on PC. Okay, on PC for the settings, you can see we have many more menu options to choose from. You have display, you have graphics, you can set your resolution, you can choose your window mode with full screen, exclusive full screen, or windowed mode. You can pick your aspect ratio. You can turn on HDR or turn it off. You can turn on upscaling. I mean, the customization options you have here are nothing short of impressive. You have a ton of variety for all the different ways you want to play the game. And of course, under graphics, you can turn on ray tracing. You can set the level of detail for that ray tracing. And of course, on Spider-Man Miles Morales, it is the exact same set of menu options and features. This is truly the best way to play by giving you a ton of options for customization. You can pick the way you want to play. And that is why I encourage everyone to play these games on PC if you haven't already played them on PlayStation. But there's more. And now let's take a look at God of War 2018. And once again, if you take a look at the menu options on the PlayStation 5, you can see that they are quite limited. There's not really a whole lot you can do here. You can play with the film grain and the motion blur. The main thing here to take a look at would be the graphics mode. You can play on the original PlayStation 4 graphics, or you can play on the enhanced PlayStation 5 graphics. And that's really the most notable feature here. Whereas on the PC, we already have more options right off the bat with display and graphical options. And just under the display tab alone, you have many different options to choose from. You can play with your aspect ratio, you can play with your display mode, you can change the resolution, you can turn VSync on or off, you can set a custom frame rate limit, and just like the PlayStation 5, you can play with the motion blur and the film grain, but you can also play with DLSS or FSR here. And you can even turn on a special reflex mode if you have an NVIDIA graphics card called NVIDIA Reflex. And of course, under the graphics section, you can choose to play on the original graphics from the PlayStation 4, or you can go above that with a high and ultra presets. Once again, the PC offers more options and customization for you as the gamer if you decide to play on the PC over the PlayStation. Menu options are great and all, but maybe you don't care to be bothered by going in there and tinkering with the settings and adjusting things around. And I understand that. A lot of people like a simple plug and play solution. But is there anything outside of menu options that you could be missing? Well, the answer is yes, and let's talk about performance, specifically with God of War 2018. With God of War 2018 on the PlayStation 5, the main benefit here is being able to increase the graphics mode from the original to the enhanced version. However, let me point something out here. If you play on the original mode, it will only run at 30 frames per second at a checkerboard resolution of 4K. Basically, what this means is that you're getting a fake 4K resolution and you're only doing it at 30 FPS. Well, under the enhanced performance experience for the PlayStation 5, you can now play God of War 2018 at 60 FPS, which is truly awesome. However, if you look at the resolution, it still says 4K checkerboard resolution. Now, the reason why I keep pointing this out is because it is a fake 4K image. And honestly, it's what the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One, and Xbox One X were all called out for last generation. If you remember, every time a new game came out and it kept talking about 4K this and 4K that, Digital Foundry and other YouTubers would completely rip these consoles apart and talk about the fake 4K images and the checkerboarding resolutions and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, even with the power of the PlayStation 5 and the enhanced performance experience that is now offered with God of War 2018, there is still a lot left on the table. There's still a lot left to be desired out of this title. And so that is why I continue to say that PlayStation games are best on the PC. And for the record, when I play God of War 2018 on my PC using the original PlayStation 4 settings, my average frame rate is 93 FPS. And if I crank everything up and if I do 4K ultra preset, my average frame rate is 69 FPS. Nice. But what about Spider-Man? Let's talk about that just a little bit here to wrap out the video. Okay, so when we look at Spider-Man, the console tells you right off the bat, the best performance option you can hope for is 60 frames per second, and that's without certain graphical features. It doesn't include ray tracing, and it doesn't include any enhanced lighting or additional VFX. And of course, there is a performance ray tracing option where you still get 60 frames per second, and you do get ray tracing, but other graphical options are continued to be lowered from there. And so you're still having to make a trade-off there. Now, Spider-Man does offer a fidelity mode where basically the game looks absolutely as good as it can look, but you're only able able to run the game at 30 frames per second. Now look, I'm not trying to be a snob or anything like that, but in 2022, in my opinion, 30 FPS on any game at all is absolutely unacceptable. I don't care how pretty the game is. I don't care how demanding the game is. 30 FPS should definitely be a thing of the past. If we take a look at my most recent Spider-Man Miles Morales video, you can see that on the very high preset, meaning we're maxing out everything the game has to offer, it does not include ray tracing, but at native 4K, we're averaging 73 frames per second. So that is already 13 frames better on average when compared to the performance mode on the PlayStation 5. And of course, on PC, you do have the advantage of using upscaling technologies. And so if you wanted to turn on ray tracing and still max everything out, I have an example here with Miles Morales where the very high preset combined with DLSS quality at 4K with ray tracing turned on averages 83 frames per second. And if you're okay with dipping down the resolution just a little bit, you can go to native 1440p, put the preset on high and turn on ray tracing, and you will average about 94 frames per second. Now look, I'll be honest, my PC is pretty high end. I have a 5800X3D, which is the fastest gaming CPU on the AM4 platform that you can buy. I have the RTX 3080, and all of my components are in a custom liquid cooling loop. I've talked about that quite a bit on this channel. And so my PC is pretty high end, and a PlayStation 5 cannot be expected to match it for only $500, okay? I fully understand that. But the fact remains, a PC gives you the ability to choose. You have options. You can mix and match all the different options, and you can customize the settings however you want. You're not limited. And I didn't even touch on mod support. These games all have mods for free, developed by other people within the community. If you want to swing through New York City as a Ninja Turtle from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can do it because I've done it and I showed it off in a video before, okay? So the fact remains, the sky is the limit if you're playing PlayStation games on a PC. At the end of the day, PlayStation games are best played on a PC. But hey, look, with all of that being said, maybe I missed something, maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all these different findings. Is there a game that you want me to test out on the PC that is a PlayStation exclusive, and we can talk about the pros and cons of the PS5 versus the PC? If there is, drop that game down below in the comment section. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit the like button because it goes a long way in helping me out. If you're new, please consider becoming a subscriber. I'm trying to hit 5,000 before the end of the year, and we're getting pretty close. And if you want to talk more about Spider-Man and benchmark results and all of that different stuff, check this video out right over here where I do a full deep dive on Spider-Man. So that's all I got for now. Thanks for checking out the video. I do appreciate your time. And until next time, E-Rock out.